Every day when you think this case can't get crazier, it does. It somehow does. Oh my God. Good morning, true crime friends. How y'all doing? Donna Adelson, trial day 8 was so deliciously unhinged. Oh my God. This was probably my favorite day in court ever. Okay, I can barely contain myself. I need to recombobulate. Look, first, you know what you need to do. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share out this madness that I call a YouTube channel. Me and you, we are this close to being at 30,000 subscribers. Look, I was minding my own business, minding other people's business, watching this court case. And I was like, let me just tune in. What's happening here? And when the cameras first open on the day in court, you hear respected Tallahassee defense attorney Josh Zellman saying, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is, I was like, wait, what are you saying? What is happening? Okay, look. Let me tell you what happened. Apparently, a jail guard came to the defense attorneys and was like, hey, I got some information y'all might be able to use. But the defense attorneys didn't have time to deal with it. So they're like, okay, we're going to take our we are going to take Mrs. Adelson over to court, and then we're going to do whatever, and we'll holler at you later. And the jail guard was like, bet. Again, I'm not quoting. This is the spirit of what happened, right? So court broke early yesterday. And so when they went back, the jail guard was like, it's going to be a no for me, dog. I have changed my mind. And they were like, wait. You have information that might help our client. And the jail guard was like, no habla inglés, peace out, and bounced. And they were like, wait. If you have information that might help us, apparently somebody pulled this guard aside and was like, hey girl, this is not going to be good for your career. What you don't want to do is get in the middle of these crazy people's madness. So leave it alone. So the jail guard was like, right. The defense team was like, but we really want to talk to her. So the guard was like, hello, deputy, do I have to talk to them? And the deputy was like, I don't know. Let me ask. The deputy asked the captain asked the legal team, and the legal team was like, okay, you don't have to voluntarily talk to them. If they subpoena you, then, if they subpoena you, then you have to talk, but they have to be able to find you to subpoena you. So the jail guard was like, great, I think I'm getting a cold. Now I'm out on leave. I was like, what did she have to say? What did she have to add to this case? And so I was like, I don't know what this was about. I don't know what this person had to say, but I was like, it's so messy. It's so messy. But ultimately, and I was like, wait, might this become an appeal issue when Donna loses? We know Donna's going to jail, right? We know Donna Adelson is going to prison for life. Now, I'm not saying I know this for a fact. I'm saying I feel it in my spirit. But to me, it looks real obvious because I have these highly sensitive recording devices in my face. They're called my eyes and my ears. I've seen this case. I've seen the evidence. I've watched her demeanor. She has a very guilty face. All the things. Now, listen, these are not things that juries can use to decide. But me as an internet gossip, oh, girl, I've already decided this is going to work out just right for the Dan Markell family because Donna did that. But anyway, let's get back to the day in court. So the first witness on the stand was Wendy's divorce lawyer. And I was like, oh, hey, girl, why you here? Kristen Anderson, right? She's reportedly a respected Tallahassee divorce attorney. Okay, great. She's been doing family law for like 37 years. That's a real long time. Girl, you looking good. You must use a nice cream or something at night because it doesn't look like you've been practicing for 37 years. But okay, good for you. And so she just came up to say, this divorce was not bitter. I told Wendy that relocation was unlikely and that you kind of have a 50-50 shot at it. Only in my 37 years of practicing law, I've only seen a relocation granted once. Ma'am, I'm not good at math. And I know lawyers are not known for doing math really well, but a 50-50 shot and it only happening one time in 37 years tells me she ain't have a really good chance. During the course of the divorce, a bill was racked up for $30,000. Dan Markell, because he made more money than Wendy, was supposed to pay Wendy's legal bills. Dan, on the other hand, was like, okay, number one, I'm not going to pay. I was like, okay. And then he started filing a bunch of motions, and he complained about Donna. And he was just like, Donna saying mean things to my kids. Donna might be alienating my kids. Wendy is terrible. I'm going to file this motion and try to get her disbarred. Wendy's lawyer is like, wait, what do you mean disbarred? And Dan, through his motion, was like, I think both of y'all have committed a fraud on the court. So you're going to have to come to court and answer to me. Also, everybody's bar card is in trouble because I'm not playing with y'all. Summarizing, but that's the spirit of what his motion said. So the lawyer was like, oh, Black Jesus. I mean, that's what I would have said. That's probably not what she said. But she was like, oh, goodness. I am now, if he's saying that I'm committing a fraud on the court, that means I have to withdraw and hand off this case to somebody else to be Wendy's lawyer. Meanwhile, I can't be Wendy's lawyer no more. So I'm out. So she withdraws. I don't know who Wendy's lawyer was, who Wendy's replacement counsel was. But the one thing that this Kristen Anderson said was like, Donna was not involved at all. Girl, as far as you know, we have read the emails. We saw how Donna was in the back room micromanaging Wendy within an inch of her life. And every time Wendy got an email from her lawyer, she would forward that on to her mama and 65 other friends and be like, what y'all think? What do you think about this? And what do you think about that? Girl, you run your whole life by committee? I cannot even imagine. Anyway. So Wendy's lawyer gets off the stand, and then this other lawyer, Linda Bailey, takes the stand, and she was supposed to be an expert. Okay. Rarely have I seen a less likable expert. Normally experts are neutral, right? They just come up here and they tell you the facts, whatever they may be. This unlikable expert, I was like, But at first she seemed okay. Only little problem. When they called her to the stand, instead of coming from outside, now see, here's the way this works. There's a sequestration order in effect, which means if you're going to testify in the case, you can't hear what all the other people are saying. Now, this typically does not apply for experts. Like one cell phone expert says this, the other cell phone expert says that. They can listen to each other's testimony. But at sidebar, when these lawyer experts were discussed, the judge said, no, the lawyer experts must be sequestered. So there was some sort of misunderstanding. And Linda Bailey had sat in and watched the previous lawyer's testimony. And so when they were like, Linda Bailey, take the stand, she just rises from the back and comes to the front. And Georgia was like, I know this heifer didn't. Again, summarizing. And so she was like, Your Honor, didn't we discuss this? And Josh Zellman was like, right, the experts can sit in. And they were like, right, but not this expert. We talked about it. There was a lot of back and forth. And Judge Everett, he was mad. He was like, this is the second time that you have messed up the sequestration order. Clearly, y'all over there, Jackie Fulford is asleep at the table. Y'all fumbling around. Nobody knows what's happening. And for the second time in a row, he was big mad. I was like, y'all done pissed off the judge. This not gonna go good for your case. And so he was like, look, I will go in the back and review the transcripts of what I said at sidebar to make sure that I said what I thought I said. And so he came back and he was like, I said what I thought I said, and that is that this expert could not sit in here. So now for the second witness during the course of this case, you have violated my order. What say you? I was like, y'all, my whole butthole got tight. I was like, So Georgia got up and she was just like, Your Honor, heifer what? In judicial language. And then she was just like, I say we strike the witness. And the defense got up and was like, Your Honor, listen, it was a misunderstanding. You see how discombobulated we are? I had to wake up Jackie Fulford just 2 minutes ago. She's not even sure where she is. We, as the defense, plead, oops. And I was like, Donna, was this defense free? I feel like this defense was free. How are these people this disorganized and this discombobulated? I could not love him more. Anyway, so the judge was like, I am giving you a strongly worded warning. And I'm like, bonk him, Judge, bonk him. You have bonking authority. I see you up there with your bonking hammer. Just bonk him on the head. But he didn't. I was sad about that part. Anyway, So he's like, I will give a jury instruction that tells the jury, y'all done messed up again, in judicial language, of course. But this is definitely your second violation, and I'm gonna let the jury know. So you're just gonna tell the jury on them? I don't know what this is gonna do. Does it hurt? Does it help? I don't know. I just want to see what comes next. So then the very, very unlikable expert, Linda Bailey, got on the stand to testify. And she was like, hi, I'm an expert. I'm super duper praised, and I have all these board certified, and here's how you get board certified. I'm fantastic. I'm in super lawyers. Okay, but isn't that a pay to play thing? Don't you just pay some money and they put you in super lawyers? I'm asking for myself. I thought that's how it worked. Maybe I'm wrong. Please correct me in the comments, but I think that's how that works. Anyway, according to Linda Bailey, she was like, look, I reviewed the file, and this Wendy was being very reasonable. It was a quick divorce, 1, 2, 3, from filing to from start to finish. The divorce only took 10 months. It was very easy. It was not contentious. And I was like, is she talking about the same divorce that we've been talking about, where Wendy was fully melting down and Donna was losing her ever-loving mind? And then this unlikable expert said, and Donna was not even involved. Girl, how you know? We saw the emails. We know Donna was involved. What you're saying does not ring true to what we have seen with our eyes and heard with our ears. Then unlikable expert Linda Bailey was just like, and that Dan, he was terrible. Ma'am, hi. I don't know if you know, you're in a murder trial, and you should maybe not badmouth the victim. His family is right over there. Girl, she was just like, He was writing all kinds of motions. He was verbose. Well, I'm verbose too. What you trying to say, Heffa? And so she was just like, he just went on and on and on. He was terrible. He had a big mouth. I don't think he had good handwriting. She just complained about him like crazy. And I'm like, the defense has spent all this time saying how wonderful Danny was and what a likable guy he was. And he was just so wonderful. And now your expert witness has got up here and defamed the decedent. Ma'am. And I was like, I like you a little bit less. And then the unlikable expert, Linda Bailey, was just like, Wendy was being very reasonable. Was she though? And she was like, and Donna was fine. Okay, girl. Okay. And then Jackie Fulfer was like, we need a sidebar. And I was like, what y'all need a sidebar for? Apparently, they feel like people in the gallery were whispering and sighing and having expressions on their face. Somebody might have even laughed. And the judge was like, okay, ladies and gentlemen of the gallery, get your act right fully installed. Bailiffs, if you see anything, you have bonkation authority to bonk them on the head or whisk them out of here. Honestly, in my opinion, Harvey was sitting directly behind Donna and her team. Maybe they were just hearing Harvey. Maybe he's the one sighing and doing all this other stuff. Can everybody calm down? Just take it down a notch or 12. But okay, whatever. Then Georgia Cappleman, Queen Georgia, rose out of her seat like the goddess that she is for the cross-examination. Now look, by this point in the day, Georgia Cappleman's hair was worn out. You know, Georgia stays gorgeous. But her hair was a little bit was it very humid yesterday in Tally? Because she was just her hair was what? Her hair was starting to stand on end. I'm like, this not going to go good. So Georgia was like, why are you here? Why does anybody care what you think? You say this was not a contentious divorce? That heifer over there done shot a man. That's not contentious. I mean, that's not what she said, but that's the spirit of what she said. And Linda Bailey was just like, no, it was not contentious. And Donna was not mad because I would know. And Georgia was like, how would you know? You just read the file. You never had any interaction with Donna. And Linda was like, well, there were not that many pages in the filing. So that's how I know. I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's like 500 pages. I've done cases where there was like thousands and thousands of pages. So based on the page count, I think this was not contentious. Ma'am, I think your theory might be a little bit flawed. And then she's like, you don't know how Donna feels. You're not Donna. And she's like, I know, because there was not that many pages. Ma'am, you've said that. It doesn't make sense. It defies logic that just because there's not that many pages, she gave up on pages and resulted to bullets. What are we talking about here? Again, not what was said, but the spirit of what was communicated. Georgia Cappleman is climbing the lectern and getting more and more exasperated. Her hair is starting to stand up on end. And I'm like, ma'am. And she's like, wouldn't these motions be upsetting to people? And the unlikable expert was like, no. What? And she's like, don't people say mean things? This family was saying mean things about Dan. And the unlikable expert was like, I've heard worse. Girl, Georgia was like, but wouldn't all this animosity be motive for them to be very upset and to want to take things further? And this judge opened her mouth, this lawyer opened her mouth and was like, there's no proof of that. The bullets weren't proof? Oh, okay. Fine. Finally, Georgia sat down and the judge was like, Mrs. Adelson, stand up. I was like, what are we doing? What's happening? And so he put her under oath. He was like, do you waive your privilege? One of your lawyers is going to come and talk. And she was just like, they could talk about my mental state. So Marisol Descalza was called to the stand. Now, you might remember Marisol from when Donna was first arrested. This was her attorney, a Miami attorney. So she came in and she was like, Donna was very sad and she threatened to unalive herself. We were very, very concerned about her. It was a very stressful situation. And we were like, oh, Donna, girl, you need a vacation. Marisol was like, I spoke to Charlie Adelson's attorney, Donna's son's attorney. And I was like, she definitely needs a vacation. Child, we thought she was going to Miraval. We didn't know the heifer was going to flee the country. That's not what she said, but that's the spirit of what she said. Anyway, so she was like, look, Marisol explained to us, prior to Charlie's conviction, they were like, Donna's lawyers were asking, might she be arrested? Why were you so nervous, girl? Before your son was even convicted, you were like, am I next? Okay. And so during the period of time before Charlie's conviction, when they were afraid Donna might be arrested, Marisol reached out and was like, hey, if y'all gonna bring her in, will you contact me? Like if there's a warrant that comes out or whatever, will you contact me so she can self-surrender? And Georgia Cappleman told her like, right, but, we ain't promised you she could self-surrender. Also, Heifer, you thought she was going to Miraval. So you didn't know she was going to try and flee to another country. Also, we're not obligated to tell you if an arrest is imminent, right? Right. In the meantime, we find out that Donna had written an email to Wendy that was like, girl, you know I'm next. They gonna get me next. They got Charlie. Charlie got. And I'm likely to be next, but don't worry about it because I'm going to take care of that. Did you know about that? And Marisol was like, oh, I ain't know nothing about that. And so she was then asked, Marisol was asked, you knew she was taking a vacation. Did you know she was taking a vacation to a non-extradition country? And Marisol was like, leave me out of it. My name is Bennett. I ain't in it. I ain't know nothing about that. On redirect, the defense says, right, but even if somebody goes to Vietnam, they could still be brought back, right? And Marisol was like, I've done it. It's difficult, but you can haul they behind right back. And I was like, oh, I bet you Donna ain't know that. And otherwise, she just would have went to Arizona, something like that. Next, the victim advocate came up and she testified, when Donna found out that that Danny was unfortunately unalive, she sounded shocked. She seemed appropriately upset. Thanks for coming. I don't. Okay, great. See, also, she Googled, how do you look and sound genuinely upset? I'm sure she did a wonderful acting job. Good for her. Finally, it's time, right? Please hold. The time arrives for Donna to stand up in court and say, yes, I'm going to testify. No, I'm not going to testify. From the look on her face, I was like, this heifer ain't going to testify. She not going to testify. And so she was like, Your Honor, the judge was like, are you ready? And Donna was like, I don't know. I mean, so the defense team was like, look, we have not had that much time. We really need to talk to her. Plus people in the peanut gallery back there, they're still saying stuff. They're breathing really hard. I think that was probably just Harvey turning up his hearing aid and stuff. And them little cackle of girlfriends that was back there on the defense row was just like, you think she gonna testify? Girl, this is terrible. What'd you have for lunch? Sylvia, do you have some Pepto? You know what I mean? But the defense team was like, people are breathing. They're looking at her and she is very, very nervous. And I was like, I'm living my best true crime life. So the judge stands up and was like, look, you've had 3 weeks of trial. She's had 2 years in jail. She had a long weekend. We left early yesterday. How come she had last night to sleep on it? How come you didn't talk to her about this before? And they were like, we did, but she's still not ready to make a decision, so she's going to need more time. Judge Everett was sick of all of them. My butthole was so tight. I was like, I'm clenched within an inch of my life. What's going to happen? He's like, you have 5 minutes. The longest 5 minutes in the history of the world. So Donna huddles with her lawyers for 5 minutes. The Jeopardy music is playing in my head. The judge is looking at his watch and tapping his foot. I was perched. Y'all, I was perched. I was ready. So the judge says in his mean daddy voice, Mrs. Adelson. I was like, you could tell he got that gavel, the good bonking hammer, ready to fully install her act right. He was just like, Mrs. Adelson, our colloquy has not finished. But the lawyers and Donna are still huddling. And the judge said, I'm not talking just to talk. I was like, oh my God. He's like, Mrs. Adelson, will you testify? And she was like, how often do you think anybody has ever called Donna Adelson to the carpet and said to her, you got to make a decision. You got to do this right now. You've got to do something that you don't like, you don't want to do, and something that you're not comfortable with. Donna Adelson is used to being in charge. She's used to running the show. Everybody jumps when Donna says jump. Donna does not strike me as the kind of girl who is just going to bow down to what somebody else has to say. And now, in this moment, in my mind, it was like the voice of God being like, heifer, what you gonna do? Again, he said it in judicial language. Also, he was not God, but he was God in that courtroom. And Donna, in a wee small voice says, this is like the decision of a lifetime. My whole life depends on this. The judge was like, and she's like, I do not feel prepared at this time. Her voice got smaller and smaller and smaller. And the judge was like, fine, let's move on to jury instructions. I was like, wait, what? She's not going to testify? She's not going to testify. Okay, she's not going to testify. I broke all the way out, the way I wanted her to testify. Now, do I think it's going to be bad for her if she testifies? Yes, Georgia Kappelman is going to disassemble her before God and all the world to see. Donna Adelson cried herself to sleep last night. I promise you, fetal position, full ugly cry, bed full of snot. Y'all, it was a bad situation. I hope they put her back in that turtle suit so that she doesn't harm herself because y'all, you know, Miss Donna was laid low. I was so excited. Oh my God, I was so excited. So next up in this case, closing arguments. Unless Donna comes to court this morning and was like, Your Honor, I changed my mind. I would like to testify. Now, according to the rules, her option to testify is done. It's finished. But legal experts have been saying, if she sleeps on it and she comes in this morning and it's like, me, I would like to tell my story now, that there's an excellent chance that the judge will be exasperated, but will let her tell her tale of woes. The way I want to see her on the stand. Do I think that would be good for her? No, I think that would be absolutely horrible for her. But out of, me being nosy and prurient interest, I want to see every single thing. So what we're expecting today in court is closing arguments, jury instructions, and then verdict watch. We might have a verdict today. Oh my God. The way I want a verdict today. But if Donna changes her mind and decides to take the stand, who knows how long she'll be on the stand? Who knows if Georgia Cappleman will disassemble her bit by bit by bit like we know she can. You thought the judge being mad was something to behold. Georgia Cappleman climbing that podium yesterday with her hair standing up like the girl from Firestarter. What was that? Drew Barrymore. Her hair would go like, and get big, and her eyes and everything. That was going to be Georgia Cappleman on Donna Adelson's ass. But I was just like, I'm here. I'm going to do like my Southern auntie says, honey, I'm going to hide and watch. I will be glued to court today. I know you will too. Listen, y'all take it easy out there, and I will see you next crime. Bye.